I've totally just found my webcam settings, so now we're going for the contrast and the flashing. And the fan is starting again. This is the Divergent trilogy by Veronica Roth. Frustratingly, Allegiant was only in hardback, and that means I'm going to have to rebuy it because I can't stand not having the same... Anyway, starting with Divergent, I don't know how you wouldn't know this, because you should by now, because it's brilliant. It's a young adult dystopian. It's like the Hunger Games, but not. Even says, definitely says somewhere, the new Hunger Games. I mean, I guess everything says that these days. Also, it says Divergent, a major motion picture in 2014. This is not a sticker. I can't get that off. Useless. So it's about this girl called Beatrice, and how in this world you have to choose a faction, which is it's like a cult, dependent on your personality, essentially, what aligns with how you react to things. So there are 5. I'm not going to be able to name them immediately. Let me give it a go. Dauntless, for people who are brave. Candor, for people who are honest. Abnegation, for people who are selfless. Amity, for people that want peace. And erudite, for people that value knowledge. I've only read these 3 once, so I'm such a genius. This, essentially, it's about Triss, who doesn't... She's divergent and doesn't belong. You get kind of sorted into these and then get to make a decision based on how you feel about it and the results of your sorting test. And Triss is divergent, and she fits into more than one of these categories, which means she has to make a choice, and also means that she's not perfectly suited to any, since she's suited to all. Well, she is perfectly suited to any of the ones that she's chosen for, but she'll always stand out within them for not being somebody that was just naturally suited to that particular one. So she joins one of them, and it's kind of a lot of scary stuff about the government of the system that set up this they're trying to like find these people that don't fit in with the system, because obviously that breaks down their whole concept, and people won't trust that it works if it doesn't work, for some people. So they're the sort. Divergent is all about... I wonder how it ends. Divergent is all about her choosing her faction and going through initiation to get into it, and then about some crazy shit that happens at the end. So this is the Hunger Games, and then this is Catching Fire, in which they know that she's a target because she's proved that she's different, and it's great. And then all the, like, as usual, the third in the trilogy, everything is much Allegiant, if you can see the name. Everything is even more crazy. And like the Hunger Games, the third in the trilogy, I in fact like the least. And maybe this should just be a Hunger Games versus Divergent thing. I could go get them. One thing that I liked in this so much more than I liked in the Hunger Games is that there wasn't a love triangle. How beautiful is that? There is a big love aspect. The second main character is a boy called Four, who is Triss's love interest, but there's never a kind of like, okay, I suppose there at some points they're a betrayal, they have trust issues, etc., but it's always a positive thing. They're always drawing strength from one another, and they do trust one another, and it's never a bad thing. It's always an addition, and I think that's a much more positive message for everybody, especially if these have kind of like impressionable readers. Thinking a lot about how we're fed all this information as teenagers, and then we spend our 20s, 30s, the rest of our lives kind of breaking down those assumptions that we've made. And I feel like a lot of the media that we're forced into, so this is getting way heavier than Divergent, they, like, without you even realizing it, they make you assume things that are not necessarily appropriate. Like, for example, about just relationships in general, why you should be in them, and why, like, they make it seem as if messing around with more than one person is something that you have to go through in life, and you can't just have a loving, devoted relationship without having those sort of struggles. So it's really nice to see that not being like part of the storyline. It's like it's not being an agitator in the storyline. It's just an additional element. So their love is really sweet. This is a good book series. This has gone on for a very long time. I really enjoyed this. I think it's very fulfilling, especially as a young woman, to feel like you could, especially to have an ordinary, I mean, she's not ordinary, but relatively ordinary girl protagonist that we could all be. You know, it's nice to think that if you were confronted with these problems, that you would also be able to be a person that stands up and says, this isn't right, I don't agree with this, I'm going to do something about it. So, leaves you a lot of hope, very fast storylines. Major motion picture in 2014, featuring Shailene Woodley, and I don't remember who the second main guy is. I'm sure he's very attractive. You should watch it. I think it's out in April. I want to say April 16th. Am I imagining this? Probably. Why do I even know that? I don't know. I'm going to leave you now. Goodbye.